All right, Alien fans, let's get to it. One episode to go, 1 week to go, and it's all going to come to an end. Season 2 might be on the horizon. Everybody wants it, but what's going to happen in the season finale of Alien Earth? And specifically, more specifically, what's going to happen with our boy Kirsh? Hello everyone, welcome to Digital Charcuterie. My name is James. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new to the channel and a fan of Alien and Alien Earth, hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be talking about it. I am talking about it and discussing it with you forever. I'm going to have more videos on this leading up to episode 8, The Real Monsters, until its release, and then I'll have my review recap afterwards and some videos following that as well. Today I want to talk about this though because the eye monster is something that has been at the forefront of this series for quite some time. It was introduced to us in the first episode, and now as we get to episode 7, we see that it's finally going to leave our sheep boy. Sheep boy? The sheep. It's going to be leaving the sheep and entering a human vessel. But will it be actually entering a human vessel? This is where things started to get a little sticky, and I started to ask questions. Now, if you saw my review of episode 7, I suspect that Curly might be the one that boy goes to. All signs lead towards a various amount of people. Yes, Dame Sylvia, Joe for sure, Morrow's up there. Curly was the one that I ended up on, though. At the end of that review, I kind of thought Curly, because Curly wanted to be smart, wanted to be the special one, blah, 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 blah. And boy would be like, don't you want to be special? Don't you want to be special? And while I still kind of believe that, I do think that there is somebody else at play here, somebody that we would not suspect, because what this show likes to do is subvert our expectations. Nothing seems to happen exactly as you think, sometimes for better or worse, but not always the way you think it is. And so I'm starting to suspect that maybe it's somebody else that boy would like to see the eye monster infiltrate. Now, whether or not it could happen remains to be seen, and this is a question for another day, and I'll have an answer to it later on in this video. But what if the perfect host, the perfect vessel for the eye monster is not Joe, it's not Curly, it's not Dame Sylvia, it's not Boy Cavalier himself. It's Kersh. That's right, Kirsh. Now, is that possible? Maybe, maybe not. Does it need a brain? These are questions we haven't quite got the answers to. It's a very sophisticated, intelligent species. You would think that a species like that would be able to control a synthetic body, control something like that. If it could take Curly, it could take Kirsh. And I haven't seen too many people debate the Curly theory. And in fact, other people I've seen on the comments have had the same theory about that. But what if it is in that fact Kirsh? Kirsh is someone that is loyal to boy, that boy respects, that boy relies on. I could see this being the person that boy would love to have a conversation with, a real conversation with, an intellectual conversation, as boy said early on in the season. Now, you're saying, James, that's stupid, it doesn't work. Maybe, but also I'm going to direct your attention to something very scientific, and that's Krang from Ninja Turtles. I mean, if it happens there, it could happen here. Same type of dynamic there. Krang operating the robotic body, eye monster operating Kersh's robotic body. Again, though, does it need to have human cells, a human brain, lung, heart, all that? Or not human, but organic life matter for it to survive, to thrive on? Not sure. We saw it isolated from organic materials for quite some time. Now, it wasn't a jar, obviously, with some fluids, but could it live and survive on its own? It didn't seem to be in any sort of discomfort when it was out. It might have been out there for quite some time before it got into the cat, before it got into Nip. Like, there's some time in there that we're not quite sure. And we don't know all the specifics of this, but who does know the specifics is obviously Kersh. And I think you look at Morrow's line in the trailer.
Feels good, doesn't it?
It feels good to finally be human, doesn't it? People are speculating he's speaking to the eye. Is that Dame Sylvia in the eye? Or is he speaking both to Kersh and to the eye? Is it a double meaning there? In the trailer, we see for the first time ever Kersh using a weapon. He takes out a gun and he shoots the gun. What's he shooting at? Who's he shooting at? He's in a lab. There's a lot going on. The specimens are all going crazy. Earlier, I speculated that Boy Cavalier would choose Kersh. But what if he didn't choose Kersh? We're going to have to go in a couple directions here. What if he didn't choose Kersh and the eye monster was in his one vessel and then escaped, and then he finds Kersh, and that's the moment Kersh pulls out his gun? Or maybe they're going to take Kersh in, or maybe Kersh knows what's going on. There's a few ways to get to this scenario. Again, it all comes down to, does it need organic material to survive and to thrive? Can it use the controls of a synthetic? How would that differ from a human brain? Blah, 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 things like that. Things that are above my pay grade right now. But it would be a twist also. We're all suspecting something big to happen with Kirsch. He got his final play on Morrow. He played the long game with Morrow and got him into his trap, and now he has caught the cyborg and Yutani soldiers. So where does he go from here? What is left for Kirsch to do? We understand now there's no real second guessing here. He did what he needed to do. He wanted to catch Yutani at his game for a bigger picture, obviously, but that's all kind of played out now. There might be more little things here and there that we can learn about him, maybe the scientific stuff, the experiments, things like that he finds fascinating. But ultimately, where does he go? Where does this franchise, this story, lead Kirsch? And if there is a season 2, is he involved in season 2? Is season 2 following a completely different story thread where none of these characters even matter? These are questions that I've been asking myself the last little while. So I think it could be intriguing for Kirsch and the Eye Monster to merge. But if this did lean into season 2, the corporation's prodigy, Yutani, maybe even the ones barely touched on in season 1, wouldn't even see it coming. They think they're fighting over hybrids, weaponized xenomorphs, controlling evolution, but behind the curtain, the eyeball is already rewriting the rules. It doesn't care about profit, it doesn't care about contracts, it wants dominance, maybe even alpha status over the xenomorphs themselves. And what bigger a weapon to have than the eyeball monster? We saw it fighting a Xeno in episode 5, now inside Kirsch's body, or a hybrid. And also, the one thing that really gets me on the train with it taking over Kirsch is that this show has been about hybrids, right? This whole series has been about hybrids, and now we lead into it, and Kirsch and the eyeball monster would create the ultimate hybrid. The irony in that with Boy Cavalier almost writes itself in a lot of ways. And again, look, I don't know if this is going to play out. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And if you let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on all of this, but I could see that happening because the irony is there. They're hybrids. They're not synthetic. They're not human. He would be not alien, not synthetic. He'd be something completely new and completely different, which this series has been all about. And of course, the real monsters are Boy Cavalier, are the corporations, are the human beings. And this would just add another layer to all of that. Those are my thoughts on it. Nothing concrete, just having fun with the idea of who could the eyeball monster want to target and why Kirsch would be the one that makes the most sense. He would be the one that Boy never saw coming. We see Boy walking down that garden, the botanical garden pathway, and we're all suspecting the plant monster will feast upon Boy Cavalier, or Boy Cavalier and the eye monster will merge and become one. But what if it is Kirsch, and Kirsch becomes the end of Boy Cavalier? His biggest trusted ally is the one to finish him off because he's got the knowledge of the eye monster now controlling him and what that could do for the future. Kirsch, obviously not curly, obviously not as strong as Wendy, but is still synthetic and stronger than any human there, but capable of doing more. And the eye monster has been studying and watching this the entire season behind glass, watching every single one of them interact with each other, learning their motives, their nuances. Kirsch might be the perfect target for the eye monster, Mr. T. And I'll be back later with more alien coverage, as well as my review of Peacemaker episode 5. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hit the like button, subscribe button, and until next time, may be the master of your own universe.